is 3 o'clock. This is Queen City News Plus Live, coming to you live from the Blue Room on this Tuesday, February 3rd. Hard to believe it's already February, even though January felt so long. Yeah, I did. I'm Derek Tellinger alongside anchor Morgan Francis, meteorologist Brandon Lawson, and producer-director Austin McCollum, and what has been a rather interesting day in the news. A lot of it happening nationwide, so let's get right to it. We do want to start with the latest on the search for Nancy Guthrie. That is today's show host Savannah Guthrie's mother. This has become a national story in the past couple of days, especially since she went missing on Sunday night.
It's just really odd. The sheriff near Tucson, Arizona areas where all this is happening, the sheriff there just gave a news conference and answered a lot of questions from the media, but didn't really give anything of substance. Obviously,
no real details,
whatever they do know, they're kind of keeping to themselves because of the investigation. But the newest details we have is there were signs of forced entry at her home, specific evidence in the home showing that there was a nighttime kidnapping, but they didn't say if that was the goal of the break-in or really who. They didn't say if there were even like tracks from their shoes or anything like that. Yes,
the details were very scarce at this press conference, but some of the reported details that we do know was that her wallet and her cell phone were left at home. In addition to that, there's also been some DNA evidence that was reportedly found at the scene that does belong to Nancy Guthrie as well. They're doing some tests on some other DNA that was found at the scene just to see if they can pinpoint it to anybody else. But at least for this moment, that's still where it stands. The FBI, by the way, is also involved in this search as well. There was an FBI spokesperson that did, person with the FBI that did speak at that conference, but most of it was taken up a question and answer session with the sheriff there in Arizona, that is over that jurisdiction where Nancy Guthrie lived. Still big questions on what exactly is going on. There's reward being offered for information leading to
the White House posted on their Instagram today, basically pleading for any information. It was interesting that the news conference, the sheriff didn't directly answer this, but someone mentioned that her pacemaker made some sort of an alert around 2 a.m. Someone mentioned that during the news conference today, but the sheriff didn't dive into any details of that. He also
neither confirm nor deny.
And he also didn't answer questions of whether or not this was that there's some sort of like ransom that's being requested. So a lot of details that they're not answering, but what they did say is that they're reviewing surveillance video from nearby homes. They're also looking at license plate cameras.
They're looking for more too.
And they're looking for a motive. They still don't know.
Yeah, and they're looking for more video. They're looking for pretty much anything at this point that might actually give them some details.
And she could die without her daily medication. So this is crucial.
And she's been without it for more than 48 hours at least at this point. So we'll be keeping you up to date on that as any new developments come. Another big update out of D.C. This one involving the government shutdown, which could be ending very, very, very soon. In fact, just within the last hour or so, the House they did vote to end the government shutdown. That with a bunch of bills that will now actually go to President Trump's desk, which will eventually end the shutdown. But for lack of better words, and for all intents and purposes, it is over. It's just a matter of things getting signed on the dotted line.
Right, headed to President Trump's desk, $1.2 trillion bill, but. Speaker Mike Johnson, he's been praised right now for kind of corralling Republicans because there was a bit of a push, a bit of a GOP rebellion in the final hours that almost upended the proceedings. So the immediate crisis looks like it's going to be over, but there's still the Department of Homeland Security funding that is up in the air, needs to get hashed out. This is something that Democrats have really been digging their heels in, is they want some reforms to ICE.
Yes, they left that out of the bill mainly because of this pushback that came as a result of the shootings of Renee Good and Alex Preddy in Minneapolis, and a bunch of the scrutiny and criticism that has been going on since then because of that. And just basically to get this passed, this is basically what they had to do, was just take the Department of Homeland Security funding out of it. That includes ICE. And they basically left it like, hey, what about these other parts of the government? And that seemed to pass. However, the technical votes to actually get this advanced were also razor thin as well. I mean, we're at a point right now where it's just one person, one Republican, who votes with the Democrats can cause some issues on this. And this is almost basically what happened.
I mean, it was 217 to 214. 21 members on both sides of the aisle flip-flopped and voted with the other party on this one. So there's that 2-week continuing resolution to fund the Department of Homeland Security. So they have basically 2 weeks to try to figure this out. and see if they can meet in the middle here on some of the demands when it comes to what Democrats want in terms of changes to Homeland Security. One of them they were discussing is they want body cameras on some of these agents.
And in fact, that's actually what's going to be happening, at least according to the Department of Homeland Security. It's staying in that and kind of reaction from everything that has happened in Minneapolis over the past couple of weeks. Department of Homeland Secretary Kristi Noem says body-worn cameras will be on every, or are on every officer, or will eventually be on every officer. That is in Minneapolis right now. And eventually, this is also going to be something that's put nationwide for all Department of Homeland Security and ICE agents. This also does include ICE agents since they are under the Department of Homeland Security.
Yeah, and it comes after Noem has said that Alex Preddy, who was the most recent person who was shot and killed by ICE agents, came with a weapon and dozens of rounds of ammunition and attacked officers who took action to, quote, defend their lives. And she's taken a lot of criticism for that because video definitely contradicts what she said. There were 4 officers on that scene, at least 4, who were wearing body cameras, but that footage has yet to be released. It hasn't been made public. So officers in Minneapolis, those ICE agents, they're now all getting body cameras that they're going to wear. Interestingly enough, in 2022, there was an executive order from then President Joe Biden, directing law enforcement officers to wear body cameras. Trump had rescinded that directive after starting his second term, but he has come out and said that he supports officers to wear body cameras.
And some of this is seen as an effort to ease some of the tensions that have come as a result of the shooting in Minneapolis, which has angered, frankly, both Democrats and Republicans. And this goes to a larger point of what Democratic lawmakers are wanting, basically for continued funding for the Department of Homeland Security, more specifically ICE. They want those body-worn cameras. In addition to that, they want the face coverings taken off of those ICE agents. They also want them to also present identification as well. And that's something that may likely be hammered out or at least discussed as far as continuing to fund the Department of Homeland Security, in the next couple of days and weeks, especially since that has been left off of that government shutdown bill.
Bringing it back here locally, obviously we know that the Carolinas got a lot of snow over the weekend. Unfortunately, it ended in tragedy for one South Carolina man, a husband, father of 3 young kids, who was killed while sledding in South Carolina. Yes,
this happened in Abbeville County, which is basically between Greenville and Columbia. It's in the upstate officially, but it's in a remote part of South Carolina. Christopher O'Quinn is his name. He's 36. He was apparently out sledding over the weekend in the snow. And with the upstate, by the way, got quite a bit of snow, pretty much just about as much as we did. And they were out sledding. It was being carried by a utility vehicle, and the sled, apparently, at least according to the officials there, it basically ran into another utility vehicle, and that's essentially what happened. That's what led to the accident that killed O'Quinn.
So the UTVs they're similar to ATVs, but they're the ones who you sit side by side, and they have the cage. It's a little safer for everyone involved. Obviously, probably not meant to pull sledders behind them. So just a horrible accident that happened. He died from blunt force trauma to the head. There was another adult who was on that same sled with O'Quinn when the accident happened. That person, we don't know, what their condition at this time, but it's just horrible. I mean, O'Quinn, he met his wife when his wife was just 16 years old. So this family just total heartache as they're doing something that was supposed to be so much fun.
Yeah, and it goes to show, like, even when you are trying to have fun out in winter weather conditions, and granted, a lot over the weekend we saw a lot of that here in the Charlotte area, people on sleds and basically out just kind
of ATVs as well,
just having fun. The thing about it is, though, is that there has to be the sense of safety where you're out there as well. And so no matter what you do, you have to be aware that's like, hey, if you're going to be doing something, do it in a safe area with safe things. But even then, even if it's safe, you still have a prospect of injury. There is another thing we want to tell you about as well. And this one actually happened here in Charlotte. And this is actually the view from a Charlotte firefighter's helmet of a water rescue that actually had to happen. And now this happened, I believe, this was like Saturday night, right?
Like Northwest Charlotte, Cuddington Drive. Pickup driver had gone off the road. Do we have the audio to this clip by chance?
There's a short bit of it. I'll see if it'll come up.
Okay, let me know when it comes up, because this driver says something kind of fun. But So the pickup truck had gone off the road and into this pond, and Charlotte Fire had to get out the raft and rescue this guy. He had been out there for like 45 minutes. His feet did get wet, and he said that he couldn't really feel them, but he could wiggle his toes. So, I mean, that was a scary situation, but as you can see there, he climbed...
What's up, man?
Here we go.
I'm all right. How are you?
Okay. So at one point, you know, he answered all the questions and everything, but then he said to the first responders, "This is not football weather." And they said, "No, it's a little colder than our football weather." So he had good spirits. He was in good spirits.
Yeah, good spirits. And also, this is probably the best ending to that story. Is it's like, hey, granted, the fact that the truck went into that pond, not a very good thing, but rescuers were able to arrive. They were able to get the guy out, and there's a good chance he probably wouldn't have been able to make it to shore, but mainly because of how cold it was out there.
Oh, no. I mean, it was way too cold.
Yeah, quoting the fire department, "This is what real-time decision-making looks like. This is teamwork under pressure. This is the work Charlotte firefighters do when seconds matter." We do want to get a check of that weather here on this Tuesday, and what is still it's not been snowy, but it has been cold, and the snow is still out there. It's getting a little bit grayer as I'm noticing over time. It's starting to break up just a little bit. Right. It's actually safer to drive on the way here to the station now than it has been the past couple days because it has been warmer. It is 45 degrees, but still pretty chilly at night. Are those chilly temperatures sticking around, Brandon?
So it's going to be chilly, but definitely above freezing. I kind of want to get back to that story you guys were just talking about. You know, we talk about frozen lakes and bodies of water all the time. And when you're in the Great Lakes area, you see people driving vehicles like over bodies of water and stuff like that, just because it's a lot more thicker. So, like, I know obviously the person that
he wasn't driving on the pond intentionally,
but for a medium truck about that size, you're looking at about 12 to 15 inches of thickness. And that would have held the truck up. So it's just it's kind of wild to think the northern, more higher latitudes, you get some of those colder air for vehicles.
Of course, it's like what minus what degrees?
Yeah,
when
that happens.
I mean, it definitely gets cold.
It's the time in addition to the cold. You see in Wisconsin all the time, drivers who go out on the Bay of Green Bay when it's just not cold enough. It's maybe only a couple inches thick. So it's dangerous.
Just down here in the Carolinas, unfortunately, we don't see the ice get thick enough. Not even thick enough for the ice skates across our area. Now, the ultimate thaw out, that's the big story around here in the Carolinas right now, trying to thaw out from the foot of snow that we had on Saturday. Temperatures low to mid 40s. So it's actually, warm, quote unquote. I actually walked outside and it felt great. I kind of felt like I was in a sauna compared to what we've been dealing with over the weekend. 45 in Charlotte. We're seeing even some upper 40s southeast of I-85. So this is about 5 to 10 degrees warmer than what we had yesterday. And today's highs, again, we could warm up another couple degrees. Charlotte, I wouldn't be shocked if we get to 47 in an hour or two. Monroe, 48, could see lower 50s towards Sherall. But this is still colder than average. We're still about 10 degrees colder than what we should be for this time of year. And that's telling you something. We still have some ways to go before we warm up. You see the colder air over the eastern U.S. To the west, more of a warmer air, and that warm air will likely spread a little bit further east here as we go through the next several days. Right now, we got a front on the way. Look at all that moisture right now, streaming up from the Gulf, moving through states like Louisiana, also Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, and Kentucky. Those valleys also going to be dealing with some showers, and we are going to be dealing with showers here as we go late into the evening and overnight tonight. 9, 10 o'clock, we'll start seeing the raindrops here in Charlotte. And those rain showers will increase gradually as we go through the overnight hours. Now, as you go into Wednesday, especially Wednesday night and also through early Thursday, there's that chance there. You see that white circle. That's a chance that we could see a few snow flurries here in the Carolinas again. I know that scares people.
Don't get all the kids, all the adults upset and the kids excited.
I know it gets folks, the kids excited, and sometimes, we adults, I think a lot of folks are ready for kids to get back to school. I don't think it's going to be anything like that, but there could be a few flakes flying around. We'll talk about kind of where that will be coming up here in just a few minutes.
Okay, I can take a few flakes.
Yeah.
If it's just a few flakes, at least at this point. As we had to break, a question for you. Chances are, especially since the pandemic, you probably have been using Zoom or Teams quite a bit, but what if you had to give it up?
Yeah, some European governments are giving it the axe. We'll tell you why coming up in just a little bit. You're watching Queen City News Plus Live.
Hey, you got it.
Welcome back to Queen City News Plus Live as we take a live look at Uptown Charlotte from our Arlington camera.
Just waiting for the graphic.
Brandon mentioned before we went to commercial break that we might see some snow tomorrow, but kids, don't get excited because it's not going to be anything crazy. He'll have
Still though, the sigh associated with it.
It's okay.
boy.
He'll have the full forecast coming up in just a little bit. But Derek, we were talking about this before we went to commercial break. Is European governments and institutions are ditching programs like Zoom, Microsoft Teams, and their reasoning kind of makes sense.
Yeah. So it's not only Zoom and Teams. It's also WebEx, GoToMeeting. You probably are familiar with at least some of these services, especially since the pandemic. This is part of a larger effort by Europe to kind of not necessarily be beholden to software companies in other countries and other parts of the world, namely the U.S. and is kind of the reliance on it. Now, this is not necessarily an unusual thing. France, they're going to be stopping the use of these services, the Zoom, the Teams, WebEx, GoToMeeting, coming up in 2027. Now, Austria's military, they've already taken themselves out of using Microsoft Office. They are actually using a different open source software. The officials are basically saying, hey, the reliance on other countries and basically other even though it's private companies dealing with other countries, they say, hey, this can be weaponized against us, and we don't necessarily want to use that. So what are they doing? They're actually going with some of the homegrown software that is actually done in either in Europe or in the countries themselves.
And I mean, some of it's free too. France, I think they're going with Visio, V-I-S-I-O, as compared to the V-I-Z-I-O. But again, they're just looking to kind of bring that all in-house. It was a big topic at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland last month, and I think that there was a decisive moment, I think, that came when the Trump administration had issued some sanctions, and it resulted in Microsoft canceling someone's email. And I think that was kind of like a red flag of, okay, we need to stop being so reliant on U.S. companies for this type of software.
Yeah, and part of it goes to, if you actually look at this too, it kind of does make sense because, hey, when Microsoft has an outage on their Outlook software, when Amazon has an outage on their web hosting,
we've
which
covered
happens
that on this show.
Yes,
it's just catastrophic.
Yeah, and then Verizon had their outage as well. And it's like, and their basic thing is here, and this is a direct quote. That's why it's so important that we are not dependent on one country or one company when it comes to very critical fields of our economy or society. And that's a direct quote from the European officials. And some of it actually does make sense when you think about it, but they want to go with their homegrown stuff too, because they also want to showcase what their countries can also do
Absolutely.
too. Yeah.
Let's talk about sports here.
Yes.
You've probably seen the video already of Lindsey Vonn, that she had this crash when she was competing and kind of spiraled, went into the safety net, and it came out that she actually completely ruptured her ACL in her left knee. But she's already said that she thinks she can come back. Okay, this is the picture we chose, Austin.
This is what the Associated Press had. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, she had this injury.
Obviously sad.
She got this injury on Friday. She had to be taken to the hospital. She ruptured her ACL.
I mean, taken via helicopter, and she wasn't even in the helicopter. She was dangling from below.
Yeah.
Which was crazy to see.
And she has been doing physical therapy the past couple of days. She's also gotten some advice from her doctors on what exactly she needs to do. She's wearing a brace, but she apparently was not in any pain when she was practicing. And she says she's wanted to compete regardless.
Sometimes I feel like the best details in some of these stories are way toward the bottom of the article.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
So there was another skier, Breezy Johnson, who said, quote, "There are more athletes that ski without ACLs and with knee damage than what we talk about." That was very surprising to me. I mean, I know ACLs, like you can still compete before having surgery, but it still just doesn't make sense in my mind.
Well, Vaughn herself has actually had knee surgery before.
A lot of injuries. She skied on a lot of injuries.
She skied on a lot of injuries, and so the fact that she's doing it here, maybe not too much of a surprise, but the fact is that it's like she's got her own history with these issues. She's still competing regardless, and she wants to compete. And so,
I mean, she's won 3 Olympic medals: gold in downhill and bronze in Super G in 2010 and bronze in downhill in 2018. So, I mean, athletes are competitors, and it's as we've seen with Tiger Woods, it's tough to
Go for
tell
the glory.
them no.
Yeah.
They're going to do whatever they can to get back out onto the field, the course, whatever.
Yeah, they will. We also have some news of our own that we kind of made today with some details on comedian Nate Bargatze. He's going to be named the Grand Marshal of the Daytona 500, and that's happening next weekend. We actually had a chance to interview him. In fact, Carolina Sports Live's Gia Lancey had a chance to talk. Let's go ahead and show that to you right now.
I'm going to really push the boundaries. And, sometimes the races can get long. If I feel it gets long, you're just going to see me go out in the middle and be like, let's start wrapping this up. But maybe it's not long enough. And I'm like, I want to keep it going. So it'll be I don't know how much power I have, but I'm going to the full extent, really try to figure it out.
So you can actually do that?
I was
As
going
the
to
Grand
say
Marshal?
he has so much power.
They
I
have
didn't
to
know
let him
the
now.
Yeah.
I
He's
mean,
teased it, so he might as well.
Brandon, what do you think about him kind of giving the
I think it's cool.
The stop and go.
The stop and
go.
If he was going to be the one waving the green flag, maybe he could just pull out whatever flag he wants up there on the flag stand.
Who knows? Yeah.
a little red light, green light?
I could see a comedian doing that though. I totally could. Totally could.
I feel like comedians they don't think there are any rules in the best way, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and speaking of races, there is actually supposed to be one that's happening tomorrow night, and that's emphasized supposed to be.
Fingers crossed.
That's supposed to be happening in the Triad area that we should be having on Queen City News on TV. The big question, though, is to whether or not that's going to happen, being mainly because of the lingering, shall we say, wintry weather conditions that are around the area, and specifically there too, because it's also hit our area and that area. Brandon, we do want to bring in and talk about that a little bit, but also what we can expect to see for the next couple of days. Because I think a lot of people are kind of wondering, when is this all going to clear out? When is all the white stuff going to clear out?
Once we get through tomorrow night, we're going to be dry for a while, which is good news and kind of bad news because we still actually really need a lot of rain around here. We're pretty far behind on rain, but it will be nice to kind of dry out and get us a little bit more relaxed. Now, I don't feel great about the Clash tomorrow up in Winston-Salem. I think they get the practice and qualifying again during the first half of the day. Maybe use some wet weather tires. They're talking about bringing the wet weather package out.
By the way,
tomorrow.
Brandon is a huge NASCAR fan.
Yeah.
So
In case you can't
when
tell.
he talks, when he talks racing,
He talks with authority.
Yes.
Just like with the
I was gonna
weather.
say,
And
I've been texting a lot of race fans today. People asking,
they removed like 40 trucks of snow.
Yeah,
from the
yeah,
track.
I saw that. It's just
I believe
crazy, and it's not just the
Especially considering what Charlotte Motor Speedway looked like. I believe it.
and not just the track, the stands too. Trying to get the stands clear for the fans. I mean, good on NASCAR. I mean, they moved this race to Wednesday to make sure fans can get there. The Madhouse isn't the Madhouse without fans there. So, but we do have some showers here ourselves. We got an area of low pressure moving in from the west. You can see all that moisture building in from the southwest there. We're just showing you that a few minutes ago over spots like Louisiana, Mississippi, up into the Kentucky and Tennessee Valley. You can see the moisture, and that most of that moisture is going to stay southeast of I-85, I think, through most of the day tomorrow. There could even be some storms firing up in the southeast as you're getting towards Florida and maybe southern Georgia. For us, no storms, just mainly light to moderate rainfall. You can see the rain moving into the mountains around 7, 8 o'clock. Could mix with a little bit of snow up in the high country later this evening and overnight. And then by 10 o'clock tonight, you can see the light rain really working into the Charlotte area and point south and east of Charlotte, getting the rain later tonight around 11, 12. And then here's the deal. Tomorrow morning, I actually think the Charlotte area, for the most part, is going to be dry. We'll probably have some showers southeast of I-85, some light to moderate rain. Notice by lunch tomorrow, though, you start seeing that moisture try to lift a little bit further north, up towards Uptown and up in towards the I-40 corridor. And then watch as we go into tomorrow, like 3, 4 o'clock, mid-afternoon. Heavier rain starts to work in towards spots like Lancaster, Monroe, Wadesboro, Sherrall, up into Rockingham. So that'll be some good rain for them, kind of washing out some of that snow too. And then notice 7, 8 o'clock, you start seeing some of the blue stuff up here to the north. That is some snow flurries trying to work in behind the system. And it's really going to be chasing cold air. Anytime you have moisture chasing cold air, it's not a good setup for snow lovers around here. Essentially, here comes the snow, but the temperature is going to be cold enough for it to really stick. And I just don't think that's the case. Now, you can see up towards midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning Thursday, temperatures are probably going to be around the mid-30s, dropping towards the low 30s as we go through the night on Wednesday. Here comes some of those snow showers trying to work down towards Charlotte and also down towards Rock Hill and Chester. And then by Thursday morning, we're starting to dry out. How much snow? Up in the mountains, an inch or two. Definitely a possibility. Now, up towards I-40, could have some lighter snowfall accumulations. This includes spots like Statesville, Hickory, Morganton, even Salisbury. Wouldn't be a major impact, but you get further south towards Charlotte, I really think that this isn't going to be much for us. Now, we could see some wet snowflakes mixing in towards Charlotte and southeast of I-85, but it's likely not going to accumulate very well with the wet ground and also the warmer temperatures above freezing. How much rain are we talking about? A quarter of an inch to half an inch of rain southeast of I-85? Definitely good. I mean, you can basically say we had a half an inch of rainfall technically from the snow melt that we are seeing over the last few days. So about an inch of rain here over the last week, and we need it. We're in that severe drought, level 3 out of 5 drought. And as we warm things up, as we get closer to spring, not going to get much better. Temperatures in the mid 40s right now, upper 40s for some, and then notice today's highs, upper 40s. Tonight, not even dropping below freezing in many locations. So we'll be above freezing for probably about 36 hours or so. And then, folks, we might get to 50 by Friday.
50.
And that's what
That'd be
it's
the
like
first time.
living in the
A boy can dream. A boy can
Carolinas. For everyone else who's watching from somewhere else in the United States or abroad, that's what it's like living in the Carolinas. We get snow and then it's 50 degrees.
Yes.
50 is going to feel like 90 on Friday. I promise.
Shorts are coming out.
It's going to be feeling 50 mainly because of all the melt that's going to be happening and kind of like leading to a little bit of humidity.
Just got a little bit more of a southwest flow, more of a warmer flow coming into the area on Friday. So, yeah, just more of a warmer
So
pattern.
you're telling me possibly shorts?
I mean, hey, 50 degrees. I might be wearing the shorts.
Let's do it.
Hey, it's Casual Friday.
That's
You
coming
never
from
know
the
what might be,
upstate guy over there,
what might be
too,
happening
so.
by
There you
Friday. That will do it for us for today here on Queen City News Plus Live. The news continues coming up in just about 30 minutes for Queen City News at 4. If you're watching on Queen City News Plus streaming, we got Tire Parents Club. It's on the way next.
Have a good rest of your day. Thanks for watching.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.